the election, not if, but how. And this was the beginning of this manufactured intelligence assessment where they knowingly wrote things in this assessment that were false, and they knew they were false. They knew that they were basing it on discredited intelligence or documents like the Steele dossier that was politically motivated and that they knew was false. And this was how they came up with the Russia hoax that was then weaponized and used to try to delegitimize the president, President Trump, and to try to ultimately enact this years-long coup throughout his entire 4 years of his first administration.
All right, so yeah, so the Russia hoax, Brennan, Clapper, Obama. My understanding from a pretty good source is that a very good source, top level source, I should say, has informed me that they're going to impeach after they get Clapper and Brennan, and I think it's Clapper and Brennan, and then they're gonna go and the House has a bunch of them coming in for testimony in the next weeks, and then they're gonna impeach Obama. It was from a very high source. They're gonna impeach Obama. Once they impeach him for the Russia collusion hoax, then he loses his presidential immunity, and then they're going to indict him for, whatever the charge, treason or whatever it is. So they are going after Obama, but it's going to be a very interesting way to get there. But that's from a very credible source. All right. So, Hillary Clinton's on there. They're bringing them all into the House to ask them a bunch of questions. You know, the House don't do shit. They just talk, right? They just do, media sound clips. You know, that's all they do. But maybe, just maybe, because it is possible. I don't count on the House doing anything, because every time that they get somebody up there, like, you had Bobulinski up there spilling the beans on the whole Biden crime family, and nothing was done, right? Nothing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. My hope is that they start arresting people. That's what they need to do. They just need to start arresting people. I think they should start with someone weak like Clapper, get him to roll over on everybody, and then if he sings the song, then you can go after all these people because you have all the information. Because he looked scared when he was on a couple weeks ago. He was on doing a media tour to try and discredit the indictments that are coming, because they are coming, and they do have grand juries out right now on several. Pam Bondi won't tell you that, but from high-level sources, they said that they are coming. They are going to be indictments and grand jury indictments and all that stuff. So I hope I'm right. Okay. All right. So we are going to. I have two more. There's two things I have to do. We have to do this thing on InfoWars. We have to cover that. We're going to cover that next. And it's they're trying to take InfoWars again. And if you don't know about Alex Jones, let me just tell you about Alex Jones real quick. The information that Alex Jones has put out there for decades has been spot on every time. And whether you are an Alex Jones fan or not, the information is like, I'm still waiting for something that he says to not be the truth, but it's always the truth. So Alex Jones, they're trying to take him down, and why they're trying to take him down is because of the they used the Sandy Hook thing, and we've covered this a ton. I did a 3-hour special on the takedown of InfoWars last year. You can find it if you go back on Rumble Getter and all that stuff. But this thing that they're doing to him, you know, they're going after his family, they're going after him, they got him in bankruptcy court. They're, you know, a $1.3 billion civil suit and all that stuff. That's what they've done to him, and they've done all these fake auctions and try to go in and lock him out of his building with no court order and all that stuff. You know, attempted to sell it to like the Onion, but there was no legal sale. So, you know, all this stuff, and we're going to cover it right now. So, stand by.
There's an advertising formula to what we cover here. No, we cover what the big news is. And when Tom Arnold comes out and says somebody needs to kill Trump in Dallas, you know, we cover that. Or when Trump sues CNN, we cover that. Or when the public doesn't believe official stories because they've been lied to so much, we cover that. And there's nothing more American than that. But with CNN, it really is their marketing strategy to push the fake Russiagate and now the fake Impeachgate and all the rest of it.
To finish the story here, I know we're going to have a tendency to think we're doing too much, but it's the story.
Trump's argument is, though, that they are defrauding the general public as a consumer class of information who believe that they're supposedly getting accurate info and that CNN is consciously lying to them. I just want to state this again because I don't like talking about myself every day on the show and what's happening, but we're forced to because, as you've seen, we're national news. International news. If they can take us down, they set the precedent to take everyone else down. Media Matters, run by George Soros, the admitted Nazi collaborator. He said that on 60 Minutes. The news says that's a conspiracy theory.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right.
George Soros' Media Matters, they created a list of sites that post some of my content on YouTube. And here it is. And most of these I've never even heard of. And they said, oh, look, they're posting his content, take them down. And YouTube did. I mean, when Media Matters snaps its fingers and says, jump, Google, $1 trillion company, ask how high.
The potential censorship of free speech, I think, goes to the core of our country's freedoms.
Take Alex Jones' platform that he talks about away. I ask that you make certain he can't rebuild.
You are going to miss us when we are gone, America.
You're going to get up.
Con los terroristas.
What's your favorite type of red wine, Mr. Walken?
French.
I hear you.
We dug into issues that push the truth onto the front burner.
Organizers of the March Against Monsanto event said that more than 2 million people in 52 countries worldwide assembled in protest of the dangers of genetically modified foods. Now, you'd think that something that garnered this much support worldwide would be covered in detail in the mainstream media. But you'd be wrong.
Recently, Homeland Security announced that they will extend their Stasi-style grope downs on innocent law-abiding American citizens who simply want to watch a football game.
I feel like people are always going to find a way if they want to do bad things.
How do you feel about giving up your liberties so the government could protect us against terrorism?
I think the problem is, like with the Patriot Act, if it goes too far. So the question is where you draw the line.
We asked questions no one wanted to ask.
But why is the Border Patrol bringing them here?
They're not bringing them here, they're bringing them to our bus terminal because that's where the Border Patrol understands that they have transportation to go to the interior.
Right.
And so they're dropping them off. It was our understanding that they were dropped off with tickets or with vouchers for tickets.
We get up there, it was like pandemonium had broken out. There was at least 500 cops by the time we got there. By the time the night was over, there was close to 1,500, fully armed in their battle gear with the LRADs, with the batons, with pepper spray, with shotgun canisters. I mean, it was incredible.
Well, people were daring to go protest the World Bankers meeting.
Right.
But you were even more evil. You tried to videotape this in America.
Exactly. And I've got all the footage. I'm not protesting. I'm covering the protest. I'm covering people getting hit. And then I go up and interview them. And they're like, I was just trying to walk. Ask the cops which way to go. I get busted.
The impending Streisand effect, resulting from the unrelenting childish lawfare waged upon a former president of the United States and InfoWars, has finally reached adulthood.
Told everyone that the Justice Department appointed individual, because the feds can intervene in a case, like it's Enron or something, like I'm a crook, and they've been at the depositions and harassed the snot out of me for the last 2 years, looking for all this hidden money and all these crimes I committed. And of course I didn't. And then they tried it on November 14th and said they had the auction. It wasn't an auction. And the judge said it wasn't an auction. And we've been here since then. And I said, I believe the judge will probably do the right thing. It's the court system on trial here, not me. And he did last night and said, this is bull. No one can understand this. This is fiat money. It's exactly what I said to you when this all went down almost a month ago.
Information in this FOIA request was redacted to protect the identity of informants on InfoWars, informants against InfoWars over the course of the last several years, as you'll see. If you look down here in the middle of the document, you'll see that InfoWars has been classified as a white, racially motivated extremist organization.
We are still here. I know NPR may have told you that our doors would be locked, our business shut down, Alex Jones consigned to the waste bin of history. But alas, they lied to you again, didn't they? Didn't they? Because here I am in the InfoWars studio, still fighting the fight, and we will be here for the time being. We'll get into some of that. Again, I don't have a ton of information to get to you. All I can say is that the fight goes on.
I like roller coasters, but you stay on a roller coaster for 50 straight rides. You're like, okay, need to get off for a second here, get my legs back. But it's like, they could come in here right now and shut this place down.
But one thing is for sure, the gloves are off.
I'm not the only one. And when the public finds out what the globalists have really done, and they're starting too fast, they're never going to get away with it.
John Bound reporting.
This year, we discovered in the federal filings, thanks to a lot of Doge stuff that got published, millions from the Justice Department directly to the charities of the people suing me, who then paid the money to the Democrat law firms that are suing me. They'd be given federal DOJ money, and then they would give the exact amount a week or two later, over and over again, millions and millions and millions of dollars to the very law firms, as clearly the payment, it matches up exactly. And we also got an undercover CIA, FBI liaison, Gavin O'Blevis, 2 years ago, in an undercover Veritas sting. It was on a totally separate subject, saying, we investigated Jones back 10 years ago, which we now have the documents was true, and the FBI couldn't find anything. So we went and did this whole Sandy Hook thing. Then we have the head counsel in Connecticut saying 2.5 years ago in the show trial there that indeed he went and generated the lawsuits, organized the law firms, and the family. So we have a total chain of this, being the Democrats and the deep state, the judges finding me and that I was defaulted, so I was guilty. The jury decided how guilty. And now they've got so much egg on their face after Bloomberg and The Onion tried the takeover in November of last year and got thrown out, and it was shown to be a fraudulent auction, in the words of the judge. Now they're back. The Onion's bragging that now they are going to get the name and the equipment and all of it in state court, and they say so they can misrepresent who I am and basically, quote, destroy the brand, because it's not about money, it's about punishing me for what I did. But also in federal filings, we've now learned that these very foundations run by the very families of the children have raised hundreds of millions of dollars by running ads all over Facebook, YouTube, Twitter over the years. Everybody saw saying Alex is harassing us, Alex is being mean to us, send us money. And when they start the PR campaign for 2 years, then when they sue me, then when they have the show trials, each time the money massively spikes from nothing, a couple million a year, to tens of millions, 30 million, 40 million a year, directly off of my name.
Yeah, so whatever you think about Alex Jones, when you look at this, when you really get a look at this and you see what they've done to Alex Jones, because he's telling you, and the beginning of this, the first part of the clip, where he's talking about all the different topics that they've covered over the years, 31 years on air, radio and internet TV and all that stuff over the years. All that he's doing is exposing the deep state, the globalists, and all this stuff over all these years. So they did a campaign to take him off the air, use Sandy Hook as the reason to do it, when he literally didn't even talk about Sandy Hook for like 0.5% of the time over a short period of time, and everybody else was saying that they thought it was fake, the whole Sandy Hook thing, and he's like, hey, maybe it looks sketchy. And so they used that to go after him. And they said that he did all this stuff, threatened them, and did all this stuff over all these years. And so they're trying to take him down. And this thing, if you don't know, you should really take a look at what Alex covers. And if you take the current situation that's going on right now, let's use, and we're gonna cover this Russia thing in a minute, but if you go back and pick a topic, it doesn't matter. All his stuff, every video on any of his platforms, Infowars.com or Band.video or any of those platforms, X, Rumble, Getter, you go to, all that stuff is free, open source. You're allowed to take anything out of there and do whatever you want with it, repost it, cut clips out, do all that stuff, because it's open source for everyone that is here, his fans or whatever you want to call us, the people that, get the information from Alex Jones. I'm making a point here. So if you go back, pick a topic, any topic that has been, they don't talk about on MSNBC or CNN or whatever, and you take the topic and you do the research on any of the topics of what Alex said prior to, it always comes true. That's why they call Infowars tomorrow's news today. It's really next year's news today. It's 5 years from now's news today. He talked about the globalism. He talked about the CBDCs. He talked about the COVID vaccines. He talked about all of it, COVID, all that stuff. He talked about it way before it happened. He said that they were going to blow up the building of 9/11 before it even happened, and said that you need to call the White House right now and tell them that it's happening. He was ahead of it the whole way. Okay. So the reason why I'm saying this is Alex Jones is really a top advisor to the world. And if you follow what he says and you just, follow the bouncing ball, you're way ahead of anything that's going to happen, because this is the real news, not MSNBC or Fox News or any of those bullshit medias. It's Infowars, because Infowars is ahead of the game, always has been, and will always be. And if, they do a manipulation ploy like they've been doing, and they take him down, then he'll be on Real Alex Jones on Twitter or X, and AJN Live on Twitter as well. So you can always find him. But I suggest that if you don't watch Alex Jones, you should take a minute, a month, and just watch and listen to what he says and do the research behind it. And every time he says something that's going to happen, it happens. Okay? Every single time. I have yet to find a situation that hasn't happened. Now, do I believe absolutely 100%? I actually do, because I've seen what's going on, but some people don't. Some people think, he's this or that. But what I've found watching, listening to Alex Jones is I'm always ahead of the curve on any subject that he brings up, anything that's being talked about. And if he's not talking about it, it's because propaganda and it's not real, or it's some bullshit that's not real, period. Okay? So I say that so that the people that are out there that are running their mouths saying that Alex Jones is a Fed or fake or whatever, you should do your research before you say that, because Alex Jones is right. I have the shirt on today. Alex Jones did nothing wrong, and he really hasn't done anything wrong. Really hasn't. Okay? All right. All right, let's do this. Now, I'm going to play, first I'm going to play the truth why I don't want you to want Trump to end the Russian war. I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to back it up with this clip from Martin Armstrong talking about what's going to happen if Russia doesn't get a peace deal, or if Trump doesn't get a peace deal with Russia. Okay? Stand by.
So here's what they don't want you to understand about the summit. This isn't just about ending a war in Ukraine. This is about ending an entire world order that has kept humanity trapped in cycles of imperial resource extraction and manufactured conflict for over a century. The British Empire never died. After Franklin Roosevelt died, it just put on a three-piece suit and called itself the rules-based international order. The screaming you hear from London, Brussels, and their American assets isn't about Ukraine's territorial integrity. It's the death rattle of a parasitic system that has fed off human misery for generations. If America and Russia become partners instead of enemies, their game is over. I'm Barbara Boyd. The empire is dying and they know it. The only question is whether we'll help them dig their own grave or whether we'll let them drag us down with them. You won't find this.
He knows, I'm pretty sure, I've been counting it with people that I know in Washington, that he's going to be stabbed in the back. I did speak to somebody very close to him, and I said we should get the hell out of Europe and out of NATO, because they're going to create a false flag to invoke Article 5 to try and drag us in. I thought they would think I was a conspiracy or something, and they said, no, we know you're right. So when I got that back from Washington, I was like, okay, you're starting to realize what the hell's going on here.
And from my intel, Kellogg's been acting like he supports Trump, but has been stabbing in the back, kind of with shadow diplomacy like Pompeo, and that now Trump knows that as well. So I see this as a big, not as a photo op, a place for Trump to turn on the gauntlet and say, this is the deal, you don't take it or we withdraw our support. But then, as you said, the next move is NATO or Zelensky himself staging a false flag to blame the Russians.
Yeah, look, this is what they will do. I mean, I'm very familiar with Russia. Putin is the most conservative guy. He has sat on his hands. You replace him, you're going to get somebody like Madoff. All right? And what's he going to do? All right, they want somebody there who will respond emotionally. When they cursed, okay, that's it, I'm pushing the button. That's what they want. That's why he tried to assassinate Putin. Putin is trying to avoid World War III. All right, whereas the neocons that are in Russia behind him, you remove him and then we got a real problem, because they're going to want war just as much as somebody like Lindsey Graham.
The government ears.
Uh-oh, skipped.
Trump is honestly trying to create peace here. The big problem we have is that you have Zelensky and the EU stabbing him in the back all the time. They want war over there. They have pretty much, if they don't get war, they have an economic, crisis, and so they need a diversion. Look, the answer to this, and I had even spoken with RFK about this, before. The solution to peace was simply the Minsk agreement. Honor it, let the Donbass vote, and separate the same way Czechoslovakia is separated to the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Yugoslavia, the same thing. I mean, all this nonsense of, he wanted to take all of Ukraine and stuff. If he wanted to, he would have done it a lot sooner. But, this is a war that we started. I think all the evidence is very clear. You had John McCain there at Maidan saying, this is about peace, and was all lying about that. Victoria Nuland picked the interim government and instructed them to attack the Donbass and start the civil war. So, I mean, this has been going on. Our neocons are it's hard to even get your mind around what they do. But I mean, you had even John, you had Lindsey Graham come out and say, this is the best money we ever spent to kill Russians. I mean, if you said that about, blacks or Islam or something, it'd be a hate crime.
Every guest we.
All right. So, I hope that kind of straightens that out for you. So this is the thing about the Russia thing. What's going to happen is they're going to get a peace deal with Russia, and Zelensky's not going to go for it, and NATO's going to not go for it. They're probably bombing Russia right now. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to start taking people out, starting with Zelensky. They'll take Zelensky out. I've already said they're going to do that. I told you this earlier. And then they're going to fucking squeeze NATO to get them to stop, with the war bullshit. Because, NATO's over there, pumping Zelensky up to keep the fight going because of the money that's involved in it. Because, it's a big money laundering operation in Ukraine. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week. My hope is that this goes away. We don't end up in war. And I really think that Trump is going to make this happen. I really do. I have a pretty good feeling about it. And it just matters on how they're going to get it done with the globalists in Ukraine and NATO. So we'll see how this turns out. I want to say thank you. I got pretty close. I almost got everything. There's a couple things I didn't get to, but for the most part, I covered all the important stuff. I think we got about 25 clips out of the way. So thank you for being here. Please share this information. This is open source. Take anything from any of my channels, use it, do whatever you want with it, rebroadcast it, whatever. I appreciate it if you do. Just put me in the subject line, Inspector Webb, so I get some traffic. Appreciate it. Share this with everybody. Let everybody know that I do a show every Friday night at 8 p.m. And I think we're gonna start a Tuesday night stream as well. I'm working on getting my my producer back over here. They just had a baby. So they're having, they're doing that thing right now. So hopefully he'll get back over here pretty soon. I hope the stream's better, because we were having a bunch of trouble with it, and we revamped everything, got new computers and all that stuff. So I hope it's working better for everybody, and I hope it's good and clear, and I hope I'm doing a better job. Thank you for being here. God bless everybody, and stay safe out there. Good night.